The survey was a really interesting piece of work to really start to understand and analyse what small businesses in the region are suffering in terms of cybersecurity issues. And identifying their business issues. I mean, one of the things around the survey was not to do with technology as such, but really focusing on the business concerns that businesses had around cybersecurity, so that we can start to plan how we can help them as a university and how we can connect businesses together in order to improve the security posture of the region, really.
Well, I think the most interesting thing about the findings of the survey is they're not what we expected. We know there's a lot wrong, there's a lot that needs mending, but it's very difficult to know where to focus your attention. And the report has shown some things that we didn't expect. Some statistics, for example, relating to outsourcing, and some relating to the number of companies that have a security policy, even though that they are involved in security. And the results are quite surprising. And what this does, it enables us to focus on a specific area to try and, make matters better.
This is really a first step in identifying some of the key questions that we have to look at. It's understanding what small to medium businesses face on a day-to-day basis, but also understanding the language and the terminology that we have to use when speaking to them about cybersecurity. For example, is cybersecurity the right term to use?
We've got to get over to everybody in business that cyber security is a major problem, but it must be a benefit, seen as a benefit, not just a cost.
The key takeaway from me is the fact that we're now starting to analyse and understand the issues. I think, in terms of augmenting a fix, you first of all got to understand and identify what the problems or areas of concerns are. So for me, it's been a great opportunity to actually look at the problem, start to understand it, and then to try and think about some fixes for that.
Well, certainly the first thing I would say is that there are far too many small businesses out there that really don't understand the full impact of IT and cyber attacks, etc. And we need to increase the awareness to the people by education to ensure that they can help themselves and make businesses more profitable. And that's why with the Federation of Small Businesses, hopefully with the university, we're going to come together and get this information out to a lot of small businesses.
There just seemed to be quite a disconnect from the providers of various solutions and things, and really as a small and medium business owner it's very hard to know where to start, and I think some suggestions I put through today could well address and help that, and make it more accessible to SMEs to really know what they need to do in a practical way, really.
So we're going to take the survey forward and we're going to improve it. There are some areas that we found we weren't necessarily as in-depth on, that we need further analysis in. So we're going to take that survey forward and run that again next year, hopefully to a wider audience. But one of the things that we want to do off the back of this survey is to really plan a strategic response by the university in terms of how can we help the regional businesses in this space improving their cybersecurity position.
I think it's important to follow this on with a much more specific survey and more work to identify, are these findings correct? And if they are, what can we do about them?
We'll be producing a short report based on the findings of today, or maybe just looking at some of the key findings of today. We're then going to be moving on to a workshop on December 3rd that's going to involve 20-25 interested parties, mainly SMEs, from varying different sectors, to look at their considerations and maybe take some of the questions posed in the survey forward into a wider audience. For us, having representative bodies in there like the Chamber of Commerce and FSB would be absolutely critical for that sort of to progress, and then maybe taking that early next year into a broader audience again to ask those questions that have come from the workshop. And it's kind of an iterative rolling process of just maybe focusing on certain areas because it's a very, very broad subject going forward.